What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? We are Straight No Chaser, Indiana University's all-male a cappella group. Thanks for checking us out on the website. When you're done watching this and looking at other news on the website, check out SNCProductions.com. You're already on the internet anyway, right? Back home again in Indiana, I was happy but I needed something more. I didn't know exactly how I was going to find it, the a cappella I was looking for. In 1996 there was this guy named Dan Ponce, and he was actually a singing Hoosier, and along with a couple of his friends, they decided they wanted to start a group in which they could essentially go to sororities and sing for girls. And obviously they couldn't do that with every single singing Hoosier because, first of all, half of them were girls, and that wasn't as exciting for them. And second of all, you know, it was 50 people, and 50 people couldn't just walk into a sorority house and sing. So they decided that they wanted to get about 10 or 11 guys together. Guys he knew were, you know, the ones he knew could sing, lyric for you. And he decided that, you know, they'd just start making music. And
Straight No Chaser is an a cappella group, as I said, and a cappella is pretty much singing as a group without any musical instruments. We have people in the group that make musical instrument sounds. They're called vocal percussionists. Actually, our vocal percussionist in the group is Gene Bowen, and he's pretty good. Yeah, it's a really cool experience making music with just voices. It's a lot different than being in like a big choir.
The best thing would be singing for the girls, which is why it started. And I mean, it's just amazing to be able to go into sorority houses and sing for these people, and then just, I don't know, just have them enjoy it, have them like it, and have them, you know, want to meet everyone afterwards. And you get to know a ton of people. You get to you know, you just get your name out there, which is awesome. And also, another best thing is you just get to you are essentially singing with a core group of guys. Of course, everyone leaves. But you're essentially singing with a core group of guys, and those guys become your best friends because you're with them. You're with them essentially 24/7, and I mean, you just get to know them and you get to love them, and you hang out with them. And I mean, even when we're singing and doing shows, it's, you know, it's still like you're with your friends doing what you like to do. So it's awesome.
Being a freshman in Straight No Chaser is quite an experience. And when I made the group this year, all the older members told me that it was going to be something that no one else in college could ever experience. Something just completely different. And it's so true. Being a freshman in the group is just made my college experience something beyond belief.
And then the worst part is kind of about the freshman thing. See, they love this thing called the food chain. And the food chain is essentially a totem pole, if you will, with the seniors up top, and then the juniors, and then the sophomores, and then the freshmen. Although this year the two freshmen and the sophomores are pretty much level.
I get to travel all over the country. We've been to like Oregon, Washington, D.C., Florida, Chicago. To sing for various different shows.
We got this really cool house. We were traveling to Denver for a show that was booked essentially because of YouTube, and the freshmen and I got a fantastic house. We heard it was fantastic. We heard it was the best neighborhood in Denver and stuff like that. And Gene, who's one of the seniors, and another senior named Corey come along. And they look at us and they're just like, yeah, we're food chain in that house. We're going to food chain. And I am very blessed to be in it, and I thank everyone who allowed me to do that.
That's a wrap.
Thinking straight, no chaser. We're drinking straight, no chaser. We're staying straight, no chaser.
I have been interested in fencing since I was a really young kid. I come from South Bend, and that's a huge fencing area. I couldn't afford to do it there, however, so I had to wait till I got to college. They offered the class here. I took the class, got really interested in it my sophomore year. Started training with the club, and then wanted to do well, so I started practicing like 8 or 9 hours a day.
When I first thought about fencing, I thought a lot about what you see, like, I guess, kind of in the movies, you know what I mean? Like, they're going everywhere and all this different stuff. And you're surprised by how much of a sport it is, and by how much strategy it takes, and how much practice and dedication to the sport it takes. And I didn't even know that there was like a way to fence a team sport with fencing, and so I learned all about that when I showed up. I knew nothing when I came to it. So.
When I first learned about fencing, it was about sport fencing and not like classical fencing. I really didn't have a set perspective in my mind about what fencing would be like.
I didn't really have any preconceptions about fencing. I figured it was something different, something unique, and it definitely is. People kind of look at you a little funny when you say that you're a fencer, especially when you have bruises.
Epee is your traditional dueling weapon. The full body is target area. It is a long point weapon that isn't nearly as flexible as a foil. Yeah, basically for epee, it's whoever touches first gets the point. So, epee, for example, the taller and more athletic you are, generally speaking, the taller and skinnier you are, the better. The best, and that's a general guideline. I mean, it's hard to say, but you usually want to be tall. Average epee size in the World Cup level is 6'4". I'm 6'2". You want to be tall, lean.
In foil, a lot of us tend to be pretty short. You can probably see that in the footage that you have of foilists already. We're pretty short and skinny. However, the great thing about fencing is that it's a very adaptable sport.
For foil, well, foilists are generally small and more on the petite side, but I mean, again, that's changing too. A lot more foilists are starting to look like me, so.
I am a saber fencer, and I consider that to be the funnest weapon, especially for me, who's a little bit ADD and it's a little bit more fast-paced. Yes, this is a saber. This is a practice saber. It doesn't have, but what you can do is you can hit anywhere above the chest. I mean, above here on and the head, and you can hit with any part of the blade. Whereas with the other two, you can only hit with the top part. And it's set up. They have called right of ray, which can essentially be summed up to when you're making an attack, if both of you hit, then whoever is making kind of the more aggressive motion would get the touch.
Classical fencing is the very stereotypical you think of in like the olden days, what people would train for dueling, and the person with the hand up here, and like perfect on guards, advances, retreats, parries, things like that. Some of the things that have been added in modern sport fencing are a flick. Essentially, you can get the blade to bend to catch instead of like actually hitting someone straight. I know a lot of classical fencers don't like the flick, but it's a lot of classical fencers aren't like a big fan of it. People who are like more about the history of fencing rather than the sport of fencing.
You know, there's family and friends, and then school, and then fencing after that usually. So I spend a lot of time with it. So it's pretty dedicated to the sport.
When I started out, horrible, absolutely horrible, and it was just kind of an accomplishment of real empowerment to be able to work through that and actually be able to get to a competitive level.
I am absolutely obsessed with this sport. This is essentially my life. This is kind of what I want to do after I get out of college. I'm going to get a crappy job and train for World Cup. Other people are a little different, but for me, this is sort of all I really do. It's what I love, all of that. So